Well, April is looking like it's going to be quite an intense month. We have a solar eclipse happening in April. We have Mercury retrograde. We have Jupiter changing signs, among other things. This is going to be a very intense month. And we're likely going to be seeing more shocking events happening during the month of April. That's going to be revealing a lot of truth of how things have been and some of the underlying problems we've been seeing in different institutions and so forth. For those of you that are new to my channel, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get all of my videos. I do videos on celebrities, royal family, monthly predictions, and I even do teaching videos. So make sure you're following me. Also, if you're interested in a personal reading, check down below for details. You can book those on my website. And I also want to let you know about my new channel called Thor Spirit Teachings, where I offer free meditations that you can listen to at your convenience to help you deal with a lot of your karma. So that's what I'm here to do is I'm here to try to help mitigate some of that karma in any way that we possibly can. So let's talk about the month of April. So we do have a lot of highlights. Now, mid month around April 20th, I want you to mark your calendars. This is going to be when the energy is essentially the most intense. Literally, we have like three different events happening on the same day around the 20th and the 21st. So we could be seeing some intense energy around that time. There's a lot of Aries energy for the month of April. And those of you that know what Aries is about new innovation, it's about new birth, but it's kind of like this creative destruction that's happening. And a lot of us are seeing that. A lot of us are aware that things aren't quite working in the world. We have a cost of living crisis. A lot of people can't afford housing right now. And there's a lot of issues that need to be dealt with. I feel like we're going to start seeing more of those cracks happen in the month of April. So I do feel like there's more of a buildup happening towards June. There's a very important transit happening in June when Rahu and Jupiter come together. We'll talk about that in the June video. But I do feel like this is the month where we're going to see more of what was happening in the month of March. So, as you all recall, in the month of March, we started seeing some issues with uh, early issues with some of the banks. We started seeing, for example, the Silicon Valley Bank had issues, First Republic Bank, and then even Credit Suisse. So there's some different issues popping up. And I feel like we're going to start seeing more of this instability. Now, I do feel like with Saturn transiting the sign of Aquarius, we're going to see more backstopping from the government, but it is a sign of this lack of confidence that's starting to happen in the markets. There's this idea of things don't feel right. And I think all of you can agree with that, that things are not feeling right, especially with the economy. Let's go back to the slide. So, April 6th is really going to be the first thing I see when we have Mercury is going to be in the sign of Aries. All of this stuff is pretty much happening in the sign of Aries. Aries is the sign of it is like conflict. Aries is the god of war. So there's a lot of powerful energies, fiery energies happening for the month of April. When Mercury goes conjunct with Rahu in the sign of Aries, I do feel like even before the Mercury goes retrograde, I feel like we're going to start seeing a lot of different issues with communications networks, different problems. Remember what Rahu represents. Rahu is essentially when there's an eclipse. Okay. So Rahu eclipses the sun or Rahu eclipses the moon. Well, essentially, Rahu is eclipsing Mercury. So I feel like there's going to be this miscommunication that's happening around the world, not only on an interpersonal level, but I feel like between nations, we're really going to see this problem with communication. And this could lead to mistakes being made. So I'm really worried about that because Aries is the sign of the hothead. It's the sign of the temper tantrum. It's the sign of great difficulty because people are not fully, thinking about things. And when Rahu's eclipsing Mercury, there's this idea of we're not using our rational reasoning mind to make decisions. It's being eclipsed by Rahu. So I feel like that's the first little domino for the month of April. So around April 6th, you may want to watch what's happening. Rahu's usually very much involved in important events, usually when Rahu makes contact with important planets. On the 20th, this is really interesting. We have a solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. I am going to make a special video for that in particular, but this is going to be just this huge amount of new energy. It does represent a new birth. Okay. But the issue is there's still a lot of this old age of Pisces energy that's still around. So there's still a lot of this creative destruction that's happening. I don't want this to be a video where we're being fearful. There's a lot of reasons why a lot of the old order or a lot of the old structures are essentially disappearing. The old structures are going away because they're not useful anymore. And so what Saturn's going to be doing as it transits the sign of Aquarius with the help of the sign of Aries here is it is going to be restructuring things. But remember what I told you all. I said in the beginning of this Saturn and Aquarius transit, which just started on January 17th, the first year is really going to be the problem is going to be introduced to us. We're going to see a lot of problems with the economy. And that's what I see. We're going to see more echoes of this month in April, especially around April 20th and April 21st. But check out what's happening right here. So solar eclipse in Aries, that's already a really super intense energy. Then we got Jupiter entering Aries. It's finally changing signs. And then we got Mercury going retrograde all within 1 or 2 days of each other. When you have planetary shifts like this, it usually brings important events. So make sure you're watching around that date. Now, Mercury retrograde, just like how Mercury is going to be eclipsed by Rahu, essentially, Mercury retrograde is also going to bring up a lot of communications issues. So not only are we going to have a lot of issues on a personal level, for example, not getting emails that you sent, people not getting emails, not getting text messages, not getting any type of messages. There's going to be all types of problems there. There's going to be problems with electronics breaking down during this month. But I do feel like along with this Aries energy, I am really concerned about this miscommunication that's happening around the world that could lead to great difficulties coming up in the world here in the future. And so what I feel like is this is going to be a time for all of us to really reassess, what brings us to our 0 point. That's really what we need to reassess right now. So we don't get caught up into this Aries narrative. So on a personal level, we need to work on creating our personal set point that we're not getting dragged into the collective fear or dragged into the collective rage and things like that. Because we're going to be seeing more of that. And that's what I feel like we're going to be seeing more in April. We're going to see more of this collective anger that's happening. Saturn in the 11th house can also represent collective unrest or collective problems, protests. We're going to be seeing a lot more of those in this month. And we're going to see a lot more difficulties like they saw in France recently. So I feel like April is going to be a really important month for that. And we're going to see, again, I feel like we're going to keep track of this ongoing financial narrative. I've been following quite a bit of financial YouTubers, and there's definitely some issues there that need to be worked out. And I feel like we're going to start seeing those this month really intensely. So thank you for watching. I hope that this gives you a little more understanding. I don't want you to be in a fear mode, but watch out for about April 20th, April 21st. There could be some important events happening around there, especially economically. Things are going to be in quite a bit of turmoil this month. So thank you for watching. Let me know what you think down below, and I will see you in the next video.